So this is the Wednesday, September 25th, Oakland Cemetery Advisory Board meeting. I'll call roll. Kara Groff. Here. Dennis Murray Sr.
Oh, here.
Brett Ninke is absent. Harrison Smith.
Here.
Steve Top.
Here.
And Kevin Zier is absent. We've got Commissioner Kate Vargo. And then we've got our Finance Director, Michelle Reeder, our Superintendent, Scott Cromer, and I'm Elizabeth.
All right, so we'll start by approving June minutes.
I'll motion to approve the minutes for June.
Second.
So moved. And we'll move on to second quarter financial statement from Michelle.
Thank you. So you guys got a copy of the second quarter financial statement for the Oakland Cemetery in your packet. Nothing really out of line here. If you look at the far right column, it shows your 2024 actual revenue at $38,504.45. We budgeted for the year. We expected to collect $82,000. So we have collected 46% of the budget so far at the end of the second quarter, which is June 30th. On the expenses, we budgeted $449,702 for the year. And so far, as of the end of June, we were at $191,019.03. So we're 42% of what we expected to expend for the year. So we're in good shape there. The bottom is just the cash balances and all the different endowment accounts. The first one, the Oakland Cemetery, we are almost at a break-even point. So that's been a long time coming. If not by the end of September, it'll be the first part of October, and we should see that come to a positive balance. So things are looking good there. That's all I have, unless someone has questions.
I apologize for my tardiness, and I thank everybody for starting without me. So, any questions for on this quarterly financial statement?
Well, only on the issue of that third, in the operational and maintenance, I'm not sure which line it is, but the one that budgeted 100,000 and actually spent 35,000, is that materials and supplies?
Correct, that is.
And is there any reason for that? I mean, do we still have contracts that are outstanding? I guess what I was asking, why was our budget so high compared to actual and then compared to all the prior years?
I'll probably let Scott answer that, but we did increase it with some maintenance items that we knew were coming up at the cemetery. So this report is just through the end of June. So summertime, they really get into the
Still to
projects.
come. Okay, thank you.
We still have another half, and that's also dependent upon how many burials we go through and the materials that we need to make sure that all that is done, so.
Understood, thank you.
Any other questions? It's great to have a CPA with us on our board. We can take a look at this and understand what's going on. I know it applies a little pressure on you, but it's good to know that someone's interested in what.
Well, it's so much nicer. Ms. Reeder has done such a nice job since we were first on the board together. The financials are much more compact and much more usable. I commend you for having made those changes, and because you made them all at once, there's very little more that we can ask you to do besides what you're already doing, so thank you.
Thank you, but it was a team effort. The Public Works staff helped condense this also, so it wasn't just me.
Thank you very much. Scott, looks like you're up now.
For old business or?
Well,
Yeah, old. operation updates.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we've been just a lot of, with the dryness, we've been mowing, but not as much as we have, but we've been putting a lot of our efforts into watering trees. We have around 200 in the last probably 3 years. So we've been spending time watering those, leveling headstones as we can with the size that we can. And then just our normal day weed whipping, trimming bushes, limbing up trees, just your everyday operation. And then the funerals are always, sprinkled in there whenever they come about, so.
No vandalism to speak of?
No.
That's good to know.
We have not. Capital improvements, we did get, the chapel is painted, the ceiling. There is one more phase of just some detailing that needs to be done. Fans have been installed, the old fans were broke. We put new fans in there, put all the pews back in. The exterior work was all completed, so it really looks nice. If anybody, we have the doors refurbished. We have not put them on yet, but we are gonna put them on here before the winter time, so really looks good. If you guys haven't made it out there to check it out yet.
I think that's a good idea. We usually meet there once a year, and it'd be great to go out and see what
Yeah.
changes have been made. Took care of the bees. We don't have any bee issues.
They still, they're lingering. We've done, we've sealed every crack and crevice and that we can, but we still have an exterminating company come out and kind of retreat it, so kind of keeping them at bay now. And the other thing is, as you know, we installed that storage barn down below for some of the equipment. We have since put some asphalt in there, and so that's not completed, but it's in probably midway. So we're getting that all stoned in, compacted, and asphalt put on. We'll have the catch basins raised once we get the final coat in, so we've been, and then we're gonna do some rows down there too with the road. Some areas that have been pretty rough for driving and kind of overgrown, and we've also on a couple of our roads where it curves or winding, we have big trucks, forestry trucks, sewer trucks, hard to make those turns. So we've been digging out on those curves and putting base in, and we're gonna blacktop that so we can make the turns and quit rutting up the grass, so.
Any more work on the water lines? Are they all good?
So I've gotten one quote, I'm getting another quote. The water lines, the way they were, will no longer be. We have a leak. We've been, we shut it down because we could not find it. It was not servicing. So I've got 2 company quotes to directional bore. We have one now installed that our water department did in-house in the back for watering flowers. Upon that hydrant, we're gonna run a 1-inch line all the way to the mausoleum and put 2 spigots in along the way. And then the other one is up by the house, by the main entrance. We're gonna directional bore from the house over to the chapel where we don't push snow, just so we don't have any interruptions for those operations. And we're gonna install that, and that'll be another spot where people can fill up for water. So, and then once we get that in, depending on our budget, we may be able to extend that in segments down the road a little at a time, so it's not all at once. But it'll at least give us a water spigot in the front and the back of the property. So.
Thank you. Any questions?
Well, will we be meeting out there sometime?
I would love
Kevin?
to.
We just got permission from our law director recently, but prior to that, we had to meet in commission chambers, but they've clarified the law for specific boards, and we can certainly arrange to have in the chapel. I'd like to finalize the paint, and
Yeah.
we're also gonna recarpet the chapel before so that you can.
You're gonna recarpet the chapel?
So
Really?
that you can see it in finished
It
form.
should have Orientals in it instead. It is beautiful.
It'll be beautiful. So if not in December, then possibly the first meeting in 2025.
And so, someone was going to look at what should be done with those two monuments out front. I mean, they're more an index of two discrete contribution projects. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's two plaques out there that have names on them. I don't know that anybody in the public knows, I don't know, for example, how it is that you would memorialize somebody on one of those plaques. What should be done? I've never seen that. Do you know what the resolution is, how that works?
I do not. You're talking about as you drive in?
Yes, there's
In the
one
center.
dedicated to the gift of trees,
Okay,
and the other, I forget what it is, but there's two at the entrance
okay.
that have names on them, and in the few years I've been on this board, I've never really been able to determine how it would be that you would go about memorializing somebody's life on those.
We can look back in the old minutes. I mean, I'm sure it was brought up in a meeting, and we can go back and see when it was brought up and if there was any,
Oh.
description of
Okay.
kind of like how to navigate as far as how you get on it and details of that, so.
Memory serves, we were advised of something that was given to the cemetery, and then a motion was made at our meeting to place a tribute on the board, but I don't know whether,
Okay,
it wasn't everything that was given to the cemetery, but on larger contributions, it certainly was.
okay. Yeah, and there might be a threshold there of anything over a certain amount, or, yeah.
Who would look through the records? Would you or the law department?
I think I gave you all the minutes.
I have all the minutes. The other limitation is that we don't, when you made the inquiry previously, we don't have anything in the office that instructs of a standard operating procedure
Oh.
for where, like the vendor we may have been working with, or where they came from, or, what the process was to add to it. So it's gonna take some investigating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you in charge of that, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Good.
Some of the minutes are
Yes.
searchable, but a lot of them are just
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, we do
So-
have, yes, and they have been very helpful, but we might be able to narrow down a year or some such, and,
Okay,
yeah,
good, thank
yeah,
you.
yes.
Any questions for Scott? Thank you.
One other thing is, there is a sign in front of the chapel that says Oakland Cemetery Chapel. Don't quote me on exactly the wording on it, but that is in pretty bad shape, so I'm gonna get a quote on getting a new one of those. Probably, there was a company, I can't remember the name, but they worked on the gazebo, I think, sign when they refurbished that. So, I think Tom Spear worked with that, so I may be able to find an old email to find out. So
Okay.
that's something it's hard to read, it's paint's faded, it's not in good shape, and I think the one that was at the gazebo was at like a plastic resin type sign, so.
Okay.
That's something else that we're working on, just to kind of finish out the chapel.
Thanks, Scott. Any new business?
The only new business I have is the October 7th is the start of our cleanup for the cemetery. And that usually runs throughout the week. So then, I believe it's what, the 15th, or is that 12th or 14th? 14th, we can start like people can start bringing back decorations and that. But that week, sometimes when they see it gone, they start a little bit early and it's hard to know what kind came in. So it'd be best to wait that entire week and then start bringing back what you want, so.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
I'm just curious, how do you communicate cleanup? Do you just
We
post it?
do
in
a
social
press
media?
release, and then social media seems to be the way to go.
Not
Some,
doing-
oftentimes when we do a press release lately, in the past several, it hasn't made it into the paper, but, yeah.
And then we also have a sign at the entrance
Okay.
that
Oh, yeah.
says, it's in like orange, it says cleanup, and we have our sign department of street kind of update it, so when this one's done, they'll put it, the April one up, so
Yeah, we update it like the month
they
after.
got a whole 6 months to see it when they're coming
Yeah.
in.
We used to do paid ads in the paper.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I finally gave up on that.
Yeah, yeah, so social media
Yeah.
has been our best, but it's true, yeah, at every entrance, there's a bright
Yep.
yellow
Yep.
sign
Signs.
for 6 months prior.
Okay. Any new business, any old business, any business at all that you want to bring before the board? You will then entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, sir. Is there a second?
In second.
You got that too. Looks